been discussing about the J.J. Thomson's atomic model. Now let us have a discussion about the Rutherford's atomic model. So he has done a great experiment. So my dear friends, let us have a discussion about this. We are now trying to find out the model, atomic model. What is the shape given to the atom? This is a research work which is going on. Research work was done by Rutherford. Let us see the observations and conclusions done by Rutherford. So my dear friend, in this particular case, Rutherford is using, we are going to discuss different stories here. Rutherford is using the radioactive element. See here, you must understand what is the radioactive element. See, for example, my dear friends, I request all the students, please see that at home you have a periodic table displayed in your room, study room, or the room where you stay. If you see the periodic table every day, please try to see a big size periodic table in your room. Try to see the periodic table, observe the periodic table regularly. So my dear friends, up to the atomic number 82, the atoms are stable. But once crossing 82, from lead up to lead, the atoms are stable. They are not radioactive. But once the lead atomic number is crossed, from then onwards, the atoms become radioactive elements. They are called the radioactive elements. Means those are the elements, radioactive elements are the elements from which spontaneously the particles are emitted out. Like alpha particle or beta particle or gamma particle, such kind of radiations are emitted out spontaneously without the application of any external force. Such kind of elements are called the radioactive elements. And examples, there are many examples. Uranium is there, radium is there, thorium is there, polonium is there. There are many examples of these are all the radioactive elements. So my dear friends, this was discovered by Becquerel, the scientist Becquerel, and he discovered, not wantedly, unknowingly he discovered. See, what he has done is, he is doing experiments. In his desk, the table desk, he kept all the different elements, and he kept the X-ray. The X-ray which he didn't use till that. He just kept it. After the experiment, everything is finished, he just went home and again came back. He observed that this X-ray is being used by somebody. He checked, everything is locked and no one entered it. The next day also he checked the same thing. Same thing happened on the next day. Again he kept the new X-ray, again it was used by somebody. Then he got a doubt. Okay, something is happening. So he kept the different varieties of chemicals in the desk. He started keeping each one separately and started observing. So when he kept like that separately, on a particular day he observed that when that element is kept, this X-ray was used. Means he came to a conclusion that from this element, radiations are continuously being emitted. So these radiations which are spontaneously coming without any external force, spontaneously these elements are coming. Like that, he discovered that some elements on this planet radiate the particles like alpha, beta, gamma radiations without any external force. He called such kind of elements as the radioactive elements. So my dear friends, now we are using and almost at that time even Röntgen, who discovered the X-rays. So my dear friends, at that time, here in our experiment setup which was done by Rutherford was also using a radioactive element, that is the name called polonium. He was using a radioactive element, polonium. Again I would like to tell a story about this polonium. Polonium is named after the name of the country called Poland. Here I request all the students, every student should know about this story. Here the lady scientist who got 2 Nobel Prizes, she is Marie Curie. Everyone should know about her life history. coming from a very small family. You know that she is a native of Poland, and she shifted. Her childhood is not a comfortable childhood with a great difficulty. In those days, women education was not encouraged, but with a great difficulty, she could manage getting the degree, and she has done the PG and physics and done the PhD in Paris, went to France, and my dear friends, she has done a great research work, and in that process, she has observed that the radiations which are coming from an element, an unknown element is there, till then it is not being discovered, and she discovered that element called polonium and named it after the motherland, her motherland, that is Poland. In that way, radium and polonium, these two are the radioactive elements discovered by Marie Curie. She got 2 Nobel Prizes, one for physics and one for chemistry, for the research of what she has done. And my dear friends, see, we all should feel proud to have such kind of person on this planet, irrespective of whatever the country she may belong to. So my dear friends, in this particular case, we have to observe that she has undergone these radiations on a regular basis. Herself and her husband is also a scientist. Both of them are doing the experiment contemporarily, and even her daughter, she had 2 daughters. So in that way, the whole family was working in the same, doing the same kind of experiments. And today, what all the works she has given to the mankind are being used by crores and crores of people who are suffering from cancer. The radiation what we give. In that way, in varied dimension, her discoveries are being used by the mankind. So let us all thank to Marie Curie. And the amount what she got when any Nobel Prize is given to any person, they get a good amount of money. She invested that amount in the development of the education institution. She developed an institution so that the research work will continue and will be given to the next generations. See the kind of social concept she had. And during the time of World War, millions of people are being wounded, and she has prepared an X-ray mobile van where the van is being carried, and she has done a great service to the soldiers, injured soldiers. In that way, she extended her services to the mankind. So, my dear friends, because she was exposed continuously to the radiations which are dangerous, she got the cataract operation done for 5 times in her lifetime. 5 times her eyes are being operated because she is exposed to that. And she was exposed because of that radiations. She suffered a lot with the skin diseases. And she lost her life at the very, we can say at the age of 66. So my dear friend, her complete life, if you see her life history, a complete life is a painful life. And she lost her husband very early. The complete life is a painful life, but she struggled hard in giving comfort to the next generations. Let us all thank the Marie Curie. So my dear friends, now our Rutherford is doing an experiment taking the radioactive element that is polonium. Here he is using a lead container, PV, that is lead container. Why he is using the lead container? To take the polonium, to take the radioactive element is through lead. The radiations cannot pass. Alpha, beta or gamma radiations cannot pass through it. That is the reason why lead jackets are used by the workers who work in the nuclear thermal power stations. So lead is a metal which shields these particles, alpha, beta, gamma particles which are being radiated by a radioactive element. So that's the reason why our Rutherford have selected the lead container. Now he wants alpha particles. So now he is getting a beam of alpha particle. To make a narrow beam of alpha particle, he has taken two slits. He has taken 2 slits. Slit is nothing but a sheet having a small hole at the center. This is not a line, but it is a sheet having a small hole at the center. Because he is taking 2 slits because he wants to That's the reason why he has taken two narrow slits. And he made these alpha particles to fall on the gold foil. See, he has selected a gold foil, very thin gold foil. The thickness of the gold foil is 0.004 millimeters thickness, means very thin gold foil. Means, why did he take the gold foil? Because gold is a metal which is highly ductile and malleable. Means, it can be drawn into thin wires and thin sheets. That is the property the gold is having. That's the reason why we use it for ornaments. So, my dear friends, because of that property, the thin gold foil is taken. And one more reason is, the gold is having high density, nearly about 19 grams per cc. The density is more, means the atoms are tightly packed and the gap between them is very less. So the chance for the alpha particle to pass through the atom is more. That is the reason why we have selected gold foil. So my dear friends, and this gold foil is surrounded by, around the gold foil we kept a fluorescent screen. Already we have discussed what is the meaning of the zinc sulfide. A fluorescent screen was kept all around like a ball. It's a spherical fluorescent screen was kept to observe the scintillations which fall soon after any particle comes and falls. It gives a scintillation. By seeing that, the observations can be done. That is the reason why he has taken this complete setup. Now I think you understood why he has taken on this. Now my dear friends, what are the conclusions, what are the observations and what are the conclusions he came to? Let us have a discussion about the observations and conclusions. So my dear friends, now we have used the alpha particle. Again I will be discussing what is the meaning of alpha, beta and gamma particles later. Let us see the observations and conclusions first. So he observed that 99.9% all the rays and all these alpha particles are going straight and just reaching that opposite. Means conclusion is 99% all these alpha particles are just going straight and just the scintillations are observed there. It indicates that the atom is maximum hollow, mostly hollow. See, this is the observation. Means maximum they are going straight without any deviation, means that atom is completely mostly hollow. Now I would like to discuss about how much hollowness is there for the atom. For example, you just imagine a sphere, a ball, whose radius is 1 to 3 kilometers radius. Between 1 and 3 kilometers radius, just imagine a big ball, 1 kilometer radius. Please imagine a big ball. I think you might have imagined. So if that big ball is an atom, at the center, you put a small marble. You put a small marble at the center. So small is a so small is the nucleus. Till now we didn't discuss about the nucleus. So hollow is atom. So my dear friends, if we are taking this is 1 kilometer radius big ball, the size of the small marble is the size of the nucleus. The rest everything is empty. Atom is mostly hollow. This is the first conclusion. So the observation is maximum going undivided indicates that it is mostly hollow. Why? These alpha particles are having positively charged. Two positive charges are there. So when this particle is going straight like this, they are going straight without any deviation. They are going just straight. So my dear friends, this deviation without any deviation, maximum they are going straight. I think now you understood that the observation conclusion is atom is mostly hollow. This is the same. First one. Next observation is 1 in 1 million, 1 in 20,000, more than 20,000, one particle out of 20,000 to 1 million particles is just bouncing back. Is just retracing its path back. The alpha particle is just going only 1 in 1 million, means very less in number. They are coming back in retracing the same path back. Means from this observation he has given a conclusion that at the center of the atom there is something very massive, very dense material is there. Very dense material is there at the center. and this dense material is bouncing, this alpha particle is getting bounced back, reversed, means he felt that there is some kind of massive element which is there at the center, and also this is getting repelled back. We know that this alpha particle is positively charged, this is getting repelled back, means at the center this positive particle is having a positive charge. So he came to a conclusion that at the center, because 1 in 1 million element alpha particles are getting bounced back, he came to a conclusion. See, observation, conclusion. Conclusion is that some massive thing is there at the center, very small, because 1 in 1 million is getting bounced back, very small in size, but it is very heavy, and the whole of the atom's mass is due to that heavy particle at the center. So, and that is heavy, and that is repelling this alpha particle. So, positive charge is getting repelled, means the center is also having positive charge. In that way, he came to know that, and he came to know that the center is having, for an atom, at the center, there is a nucleus at the center, which is very massive, a dense particle, positively charged material is there at the center called the nucleus. In that way, he came to a conclusion. And the next observation, what he has done is, see, when it is going, when an alpha particle is going a bit nearer, it is getting deviated. See, my dear friends, it is getting deviated. This deviated part of the alpha particle which is coming a bit closer to the nucleus again confirms to him that yes, this is getting repelled by this positively charged particle at the center. So, my dear friends, these deviations, observation of this deviation means some scintillations are observed here, here, here. The more it is going closer, the more they are getting deviated. The more closer, they are getting deviated more. Means this deviation, very less in number, but this deviation confirms to him that these are getting repelled. Due to repulsion, they are getting, their path is getting deviated. That indicates that it's a positive charge. Nucleus is having positive charge. So this is a confirmation what he got from these observations. So my dear friends, now you understood how he is observing and how he is coming to a conclusion. Next, seeing all this scenario, he was taking a cup of coffee in his garden. He was thinking, doing experiment, he was thinking, my dear friends, when he is drinking tea in his garden, he observed the sun, he observed the planets, he observed all these things. Then he got an idea. The idea what he got is, the sun is the center. We are having the sun at the center of this planetary model, and all the planets are revolving around. So now already electron was discovered, already proton was discovered, and now he came to know that the positive charge is at the center. Right, okay. Where should the negative charge be? So for that sake, he compared the atomic model with the planetary model. That's the reason why Rutherford's atomic model is also called as the planetary model. Rutherford's planetary model, because he compared this with the solar system. Sun was compared to the nucleus and the planets was compared to the electron. How the electrons are moving around the nucleus. Now he told that the electrons are moving around the nucleus in the circular paths. The electrons are moving around the nucleus in the circular path. In that way he gave the adjustment for the electron. Electron is moving around the nucleus in the circular path. Similar to that of the planet moving. Now see, comparing the planet. The planet is moving around the sun in a circular path. Similarly, the electron is moving around the nucleus in a circular path. See, he is now bringing a comparison between the solar system and the atom. So in that way he started giving a, here my dear friends, here is a very important point I would like to discuss with you. This is a positive charge and this is an electron which is negative charge particle. And you know that there is force of attraction between a positive charge and a negative charge, there is force of attraction. So my dear friends, in this particular case, this force of attraction is acting towards the center, creating the centripetal force. My dear friends, there is a positively charged nucleus and the negatively charged electron. This electrostatic force of attraction is providing the necessary centripetal force. And once the electron comes into the circular orbit, there is a pseudo force acting on it, that is a centrifugal force acting away from the circular path. These two forces are acting in the opposite directions. These two are equal in magnitude. In direction they are opposite. Equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. As a result, the electron is getting balanced. Similar to that of the planetary model. Again, he compared with the planetary model. For example, if Sun is there and the planet is there, Earth is there, because of the gravitational force which is there, which is existing between the Sun and the planet, is providing the necessary centripetal force and which is holding the planet. And once the planet is coming into the path, it is experiencing a centrifugal force. So centripetal force and centrifugal force are acting in opposite directions on the planet. As a result, because these two forces are equal and on opposite directions, the planet is able to just hang in the space. Similarly, he compared here the necessary centripetal force is provided by the electrostatic force of attraction between the positively charged nucleus and the negatively charged electron. Here the necessary centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force between the Sun and the planet. And once any object comes into circular motion, the centrifugal force naturally comes into existence, that is a unreal force or a pseudo force. So it's not due to any external force. So I request Rahul, please come with the experiment, small experiment. Now I request all of you. See, we are trying to give you a demonstration for the centrifugal force. See here what you can also do it at home. This is a lock, a bit heavy. These are the keys. We have taken a pen. This is a pen, and we have just passed a thread through it. Please try to take a strong thread so that you will not meet with any problem. And now, when he starts rotating, now I request you to please rotate. Rotate it slowly. Take care of your face. Please make a distance. Right. Now you see that this lock is just raised up. The lock is coming up. So someone is pulling this lock. Okay. Thank you. See, some force is pulling this lock. This lock. Thank you. The force which is pulling. See, once when the keys are coming into the circular motion, in the beginning the lock is like this. But once the centripetal force he applied, he started pushing, and this body, the keys started coming into the circular path. Once it came into the circular path, they are experiencing a centrifugal force, and that centrifugal force you could see because such a heavy lock is being lifted by these keys. The keys are very light, but this heavy lock is being lifted due to the centrifugal force. That is an example of centrifugal force. There are many examples of centrifugal force. So my dear friends, again we will discuss it later. I think now you got an idea. So my dear friends, in this Rutherford-Sedgwick model, he gave a conclusion that these two forces are unequal in magnitude and opposite in direction. As a result, the electron is moving in a circular path. And now see the observations, try to see the conclusions. Now my dear friends, just now we have seen he kept the electron, he compared the electron with the planet. So now he is telling that the electron is moving around the nucleus in a circular path similar to that of the planet which is moving there. I think now you got some idea about how Rutherford have conducted the experiment, what are the observations he have got, and what are the conclusions he made. So my dear friends, these are the observations and these are the conclusions what he came. And according to his model, now the complete atom is compared with the solar system. See how the sun is, so is the nucleus, how the planets are, so are the electrons. Now you got some idea, and how the electron is balanced. Now my dear friends, I would like to discuss about what is an alpha particle. First, what is a radioactive element? Already in the discovery of the radioactive element, I discussed that the radioactive element is discovered by Becquerel. Here, in a radioactive element, you may get a doubt why the spontaneous emissions of radiations are happening. In the case of alpha particle is having two positive charges, means two protons are there and two neutrons are there. Two protons and two neutrons together is two protons and two neutrons together is called alpha particle. We call this as alpha particle. In an alpha particle, there are two protons and two neutrons. So, my dear friends, the alpha particle is having a mass of 4 units, 4, and the charge is +2 because it is having two protons. Now you understood what is alpha particle. Or if you take a helium atom, helium atom is having the helium atom is having two electrons are there, two protons are there, two positively charged protons are there, two neutrons are there. This is helium. If you remove these two electrons, then it becomes helium plus 2 ion. Then it becomes helium plus 2 ion, which is nothing but equal to alpha particle. Alpha particle is also called as a W ionized helium atom. Alpha particle can also be told as a W ionized helium atom is nothing but alpha particle. So, alpha particle is emitted means from, for example, you are taking thorium. Atomic number is 90 and mass number is 232. So, alpha particle is emitting means what? Two protons and two neutrons combined together, one particle in the form of alpha particle is coming out. So, my dear friends, why this is coming out? Because the mass number is 232. When the mass number is crossing such limit, what is happening? For example, if there is a big family and a small family. In a big family, lot of unrest will be there within the family because there will be one TV which has to be shared by many people. There comes a quarrel. One curry or one or two curries which are prepared at home. Some people like, some people doesn't like. Some kind of misunderstandings leads to unrest. As a result, from the big joint family, a small family will just go out. So in that way, due to the big size, huge size of the nucleus, 232 nucleons are there. So there is an unrest within. This unrest leads to the spontaneous emission, leading to the radioactive elements. So now you understood briefly about why the elements are spontaneously getting emitted. Now you understood what is the meaning of alpha particle. Alpha particle you already defined. You also understood what is the centripetal and the centrifugal force. I think now you got some idea about the Rutherford's atomic model. Now let us see where he failed. There are failures in the Rutherford's atomic model. Very important. So it's a great experiment. No doubt it's a great experiment. Rutherford have done a wonderful experiment. Every one of us have to see 100 years back, long back, he has done this experiment very long back. So let us all appreciate Rutherford for doing a wonderful task. This is a great work he has done. But let us see the failure what he has. Now, according to the classical physics, when two oppositely charged particles are moving around each other, they continuously lose energy and finally they should continuously lose energy. When that is the situation, so here the electron which is negatively charged in the nucleus which is positively charged, two oppositely charged particles, and electron is continuously moving around. According to the classical physics, it has to lose energy continuously and finally it has to collapse, fall into the nucleus and the atom has to collapse. But atom is very stable, atom is not getting collapsed. So there is no answer for this particular case from Rutherford. We could not give an answer for this. Now there is one more question which was raised by the scientist. When you see a spectrum, you see the different colors in the spectrum. He could not give the reason why there is a spectrum, how the spectrum is formed, why the different lines are formed, what are the reasons for a formation of a spectrum. He couldn't give a clarification. So in that way, he could not give a clarification for some of the questions asked by the scientists. As a result, this model, even though it's a great model, this was not accepted, and it is again this was developed. The next system is developed by the next person called Niels Bohr. So thank you for listening. Thank you.